Okay, so today is June 14th, 2016, and there's a new Overwatch patch, and it's a very important patch for the upcoming competitive mode, which may be out this month, maybe soon, perhaps, trademark. And the first major change is the Mercy change. Mercy used to be able to charge her ulti if her right click was applied to a target who was shooting a deployable, like a shield or an ice wall, which isn't intended. And this caused a really ridiculous situation in competitive where you just use your mouse 2 on Soldier 76, Soldier would unload his magazine on Reinhardt's shield, and you'd have ulti. It's obviously not intended since Soldier doesn't get any buff here, but on her end it's registering that, oh, she's buffing a damage increase, so she gets ulti charge. Her ult already charged really fast, and that change just made it more ridiculous, and so it's gone. And there's a minor change with Reaper, where Reaper will no longer teleport to weird locations, where occasionally Reaper would teleport out of the map and fall to his death, or teleport into a wall and get stuck there. If you watch Dyrus' stream, it happened a couple days ago to a Reaper in his game on Anubis, where he just got stuck in the wall near the final point. And you could see him with the Widow's wall hack. Also, there's a bunch of bug fixes on Dorado, particularly the Symmetra bug. There was an issue where Symmetra could place her turrets under the bridge inside of a crack, and her turrets could not be destroyed. Symmetra turrets do a lot of damage and give her a lot of ult charge, and in this crucial choke point under the bridge, which is already hard to pass, one of the hardest choke points in the game, those turrets not being destroyable was a very difficult thing to deal with. So that's fixed as well. Next is the McCree nerf that they have been talking about for a while. First off, they reverted his reload nerf. So instead of taking 0.75, it now takes 0.3. So they reverted that nerf and now decided to go after the damage, which was the issue in the first place. Because your reload time doesn't matter so much when you automatic reload through your shift. And pretty much they took the damage down from 70 per bullet on Fan the Hammer down to 45. So instead of doing, a ridiculous amount like before, which was 420 per right click, which kills almost everything, doesn't kill tanks, but then the next few hits do, down to 270, which now it kills all DPS classes if all the bullets hit. If one bullet misses, it no longer kills Reaper, and that's a pretty important change because Reaper is meant to be that tank slayer, but McCree did his job better. Reaper's also this close range shotgun guy, but McCree beats him in close range. So now it's more of a skill matchup. McCree gets the free damage, but you can shift out, and then it really comes into how you play it and how much HP everyone had going in, aim while moving, etc. But most importantly, the reason they changed this was because he was shredding tanks up really easily. 420 damage unanswered on a big fat tank guy is a lot. And even his damage to shields is a lot. And that wasn't the intention of the character. The character was meant to cancel out mobility characters like Genji and Tracer. Ironically, he's not that good at Genji. It's more of a skill matchup. But the intention was for him to shut out mobility. How he's being played is, as the end-all be-all character. He performs too well against all targets currently, so they have to change it. It's a must-pick in competitive. Usually, teams around 2. Cloud9 runs 2 McCrees, and they have 2 excellent McCree players. LG also has I really did double McCree. So the issue with only bringing the damage down to 45 is he still kills tanks somewhat easier. Or easier than I think he should. I think they should have brought it down to 42 damage, since he maintains current numbers on DPS classes, but now he has to throw in like a melee or something to finish off a tank. However, they opted for 45. What this means is Reinhardt with 300 HP, 200 shield, or 200 armor rather, the first 4 hits are armored, the next 2 are not. In the original Fan the Hammer, 20 damage from the flashbang, shift to reload, Fan the Hammer again. If 5 of those bolts hit, he's dead. So Reinhardt still dies. It's a bit more difficult to kill Reinhardt, especially since not everyone has excellent control of Fan the Hammer. But Reinhardt is still vulnerable, but not as vulnerable. Zarya is 200 health, 200 shield, so she dies to his combo, which we'll refer to it now as the combo. Everyone knows the combo, right? E, right click, shift, right click. Real simple. So Zarya still dies, however, she now has the HP to shift to save herself, because her shift shield is 600, brings her effective health to 600. 200 health, 200 shield, 200 particle barrier, so 600. The combo only does 540, plus 20 to 25 depending on when the flashbang is used. So she will live, and likely have a high charge amount, probably 50, I think it caps at 50. Winston, who is probably McCree's biggest victim, remains this way, because Winston only has 100 armor and 400 health. So the first 3 hits are armored. Well, 2 hits rather, because the flashbang. So 20 from the flashbang, 40 in the first 2 hits is 100, so his armor's down depleted. You take 180 from the rest of that first Fan the Hammer. So then the second Fan the Hammer only needs to hit you 4 times. Winston only does 60 damage per second. You're usually still dead to McCree, like I was in the video there. So that sucks for Winston, but Winston's supposed to be the squishiest tank, so it makes sense. He's a mobile backline disruptor. He's not a true tank, so that's understandable. Reinhardt is in a better spot, but he's still killed. I don't think that should be the way it is, but that's what they decided. Roadhog has a pretty significant advantage now over McCree. Roadhog is the worst tank because he has no armor and shield, and he just feeds people meter. However, because of the damage change, he now lives through double Fan the Hammer, no matter what happens. So you do have to melee him or something afterwards, or land another hit. And that's a big buff for him, especially since he can just hook right out of it. And yeah. Let me load up another video real quick for you guys. Anyway, while the video is loading, Diva, the other tank character, is in a similar situation where she has the most armor in the game, but she's also like a fat blob of a character who's gonna get hit by all the Fan the Hammer shots. It's gonna do 490 before counting the flashbang damage of 20 to 25, depending on when it's thrown. So her mech is gonna die. However, now, because the damage is reduced, you have a little bit of leeway where you can hit your E and you can absorb that damage, maybe win the duel, or you can shift away, which is not something you had before, so that's definitely an improvement on her end. However, it's likely if you're not able to E because you've already used it, your shift is on cooldown, your mech will be destroyed, but there's always the chance that you trade your mech for his life. So D.Va's in a better spot against McCree, Zarya's in a better spot against McCree, Roadhog's in a much better spot against McCree, Reinhardt's in a better spot against McCree, but not by much, and Winston is in a very, very slightly better spot, but he's mostly in the same position. And that's probably how it should be for him. That pretty much details all you need to know about the McCree nerf. Next up is the Widowmaker nerf, which is very substantial for competitive. She oftentimes would feel unstoppable, and that's not even with landing headshots. She just body shot people for 150, and that does a significant amount to the enemy team, softening them up or killing them entirely. When you finally catch up to her, she has a hit scan gun that's 13 damage every round with a ridiculous amount of ammunition. Landing headshots with her assault mode is probably going to kill you. And she was just too mobile as well. But most importantly, her biggest asset to a team was infrared sight, which lasts 15.5 seconds, but charges in roughly that same amount of time. So good Widowmakers were getting perma wall hacks. You see this a lot with Reaver and Cloud9, where, well, Grego also flexes Widow now, because if they need McCree, Reaver will play McCree, Grego will switch off of Lucio and play Widowmaker. And essentially they always had wall hacks. So a good Widowmaker player was pretty much dictating the entirety of the pace of the game. And her changes are made to adjust this. First of all, her snipe, the base damage is reduced from 15 to 12. So the damage multiplier is the same. So instead of a max charge doing 150 damage, it now does 120. Meaning she can no longer one-shot Zenyatta or Tracer with a body shot. Big buffs to those characters. She can still one-shot them with headshots, but it's a lot more skillful than shooting a fat body hitbox in a game with gigantic hitboxes. Especially on a hit scan weapon. The headshot multiplier has also been increased to 2.5. So you now multiply the damage by 2.5 instead of by 2 to compensate for body shots and shots in general being weaker. They have decided to reward headshots more, which is fair. The next major change about her kit is she can only re-enter sniping mode after exiting sniping mode. So you can no longer cancel your animation to quickscope. This definitely hurts her a lot more than you might initially think, especially if you don't play the character. She's going to be a lot more static now because she can't quickscope. I'm not sure if you can still jump scope with the cancel. You probably can, but you can no longer easily quickscope to check many areas. So you have to use your hearing a lot more. If you have Dolby Atmos, you're going to have a significant advantage as Widow compared to if you don't have Dolby Atmos. She's a lot less insane. It felt like a 24/7 COD montage where she's jumping around, spin around, kill you, fall from the top, kill you while falling, scope in, kill another guy. You see it a lot with the really good Widow player montages. Very entertaining to watch, very unfun to play against. And the last change in the patch is her ultimate cost has been increased by 10%. As I already said, the charge rate was just too fast. A good Widow would have it up 90% of the time, pretty much 90% uptime on wall hacks, which was just ridiculous, and now that's gone. So ultimately, I think this is all very good changes for the upcoming competitive mode. I'm not sure this totally fixes the McCree issue, but it's definitely a good step, and hopefully it does. Maybe I'm wrong. I haven't tested it that much yet. It just went live maybe an hour ago. And yeah, it's definitely a step in the right direction for competitive mode. There are other issues that need to be adjusted. Maybe Zenyatta needs 25 more health. Maybe D.Va needs some sort of a change. I don't know what the right answer is for D.Va. And yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. I'll see you in the games.